Good evening, everybody. I hope this audio sounds right. I hope I'm actually looking at the camera. It's been a long day here at Pocono Raceway today. Connor Zilisch winning the Xfinity Series race. We'll talk about that and a few other things I'll touch on. Probably another short episode. Guys, I've been out here 14 hours, all right? I'm whipped. It's been a beautiful day at Pocono Raceway. Great day of racing, great day of interviews, plenty of articles already on Yardbarker, more coming tonight, of course, more coming tomorrow. It's Cup Series Race Day Eve, by the way, let's not forget that. But I want to start with what will undoubtedly be the leading story of the evening going into tomorrow's Cup Series race, and that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. His car won today with Connor Zilisch, yes, but if you paid attention to the news cycle this week or watched the broadcast today, you would know that this race was special for him for another reason. He ticks off another box in his NASCAR career, this time as a crew chief in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, for Connor Zilisch. Crew chief in a car that he owned. I listened to their scanner all day, and he sounded like a natural to me. I mean, it's funny when you listen to Junior so much on a podcast or whatnot. Nobody's talking serious, like really serious, and doing strategy and whatnot, trying to do that. It's pretty funny to hear that, him talking to Connor Zilisch, guiding Connor Zilisch at a track at Pocono that Connor Zilisch had never raced on before. At a track in Pocono where strategy, especially fuel strategy, is key. I thought he did a great job on top of the pit box. And let's not forget Connor Zilisch. You know, I mentioned that he'd never seen this track before, and he hasn't. He has never seen this racetrack before, never run any laps on it. His first laps ever at Pocono Raceway were today during practice, and he was third on his first lap. Goes out, and I think he qualified top 10, top 5, I don't exactly remember. Again, sorry, it's been a long day. And then goes out there in the race, leads like 34 laps, wins stage 2, so almost had a max points day. Barely didn't lead the most laps. Chase Elliott led the most laps. We'll get to him in a minute and hear from him in a minute. But Connor Zilisch, you know, as all the chaos with Elliott and Allgaier happens in front of him, he stays cool as a cucumber, calm and collected. Goes on, passes Jesse Love with 4 to go, drives away. Only, you know, I say drive away. He only won by 43 hundredths of a second, 44 hundredths of a second if we want to round up. Just another showing of great maturity from Connor Zilisch. And I asked him in the post-race presser, what is it about him that gives him a penchant, I guess, for coming to racetracks for the first time, stepping into situations as an 18-year-old and somehow prevailing, doing it, making it look pretty easy. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. You know, I've done a lot to prepare myself for this, and the people at Chevy, Josh Wise, Scott Speed, you know, I never feel like I show up to a racetrack and I'm like, man, I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm going to do. I always have a plan showing up to a new racetrack, and you know, I showed that today. I went out for practice and I rolled out and I was third on the first lap. You know, never seeing the place before, and it's not easy to do that, right? I was wide open going down into one, and I'm like, man, this is fast. And you know, you kind of just have to trust the simulator and trust your notes and what you've seen and watched. And you know, I don't overdo it. I try to get myself an idea of what I'm going to do when I show up to the racetrack without, you know, having to overthink about it. You know, a lot of guys watch so much film and watch so much SMT and drown themselves in it that, you know, they have this cold or stone cut plan that, you know, when I show up, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and things can change. So, yeah, it's just about staying on your toes and being prepared no matter what the situation is. And, you know, I feel like I did a good job just accepting every situation I was put in today and, you know, trying to run my next best corner.
You mentioned accepting the positions you were put in today. Obviously, we know restarts here can get crazy. There was a lot of them with that rash of yellows that we had. And you go back to races like COTA earlier this year when you had the penalty and had to come back through the field. How are you at 18 years old and a driver that's still relatively new on the scene able to stay calm and able to, I guess, maturely get through situations that other guys might fold in, I guess, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I mean, I've folded more times than I should be able to count this year, so I wouldn't say I'm perfect, but you know, it's just a matter of preparing and you know, not letting any situation be too big. You know, those restarts can be chaotic and nerve-wracking, especially, you know, when you're up there at the front racing for a win. But, you know, I treat this race or any race, you know, just the same. I don't overthink it. I just run my next best corner and hope that what I do works out for me. Sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does. And today it worked out, and I'm glad it did. But there's a lot that goes into preparing for these moments, and I do my best to be ready for anything that gets thrown at me.
Okay.
And from Chase Elliott and Justin Allgaier, Elliott did lead the most laps today. Sorry, that was my finger in front of the camera. He led 38 laps, the most of anybody on the day. Probably had the best car of anybody out there. Won the pole for this race. Justin Allgaier, though, in the late laps, he was getting up there. He was with Elliott. He was on the inside of Elliott with 13 to go. So on lap 88, you had the restart. Maybe the biggest restart of the day, in all honesty, because it took two at the top, if not the top two contenders out of the race in terms of race-winning contention. It took Elliott out. Allgaier on the inside gets loose, washes up the racetrack. Allgaier got the worst end of it than Elliott did. Elliott actually ended up finishing 4th, Allgaier 10th. As good as Allgaier is, he has 3 wins this year. He's a defending champ. He does have a tendency to lose a lot of races in heartbreaking ways. And I feel like about 3/4 of the time it's his fault. It's okay. His legacy's protected. He's won so many of these races. He's a champion. You can't make the excuse that he chokes in the championship. You can't make that excuse anymore. But I think as he goes to try to defend a title and win more races in the future, it could be a concern that he has a tendency, I don't want to say throw him away because that's really harsh, but that's kind of sometimes what it seems like he is doing, is throwing these race wins away. And you can't do that. They're way too valuable with playoff points and everything. So Allgaier, he made a mistake. It can happen to anybody, but he made a mistake and still grabs a top 10 finish, but still that's got to sting. He led 10 laps on the day. Let's hear from Chase Elliott about that incident and also about the seemingly very amicable conversation that Chase Elliott and Justin Allgaier had with each other on pit road after the race.
Once we get some.
Can you describe what happened from turn 1 between you and the 7?
I mean, yeah, I think he just ran in there too hard, and kind of caught, a bad section of air or, something weird, and it got him turned sideways. And, at that point, I just saw him coming towards my door really fast. I mean, what am I going to do? Either give him the space or crowd him and crash. It was kind of up to me at that point whether or not we were going to have 2 destroyed race cars. At that point, we were screwed, so it's not worth tearing up the shit for no reason.
Saw him come over and talk to you. It looked like a pretty friendly conversation, though. What did you two say to each other there?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Justin. We've always raced each other with a lot of respect, and have had, equally as much away from the racetrack too. So, I don't have any ill will against him. I hate that he made a mistake with me there, considering it, it'll be my last one for the year, and the old Hendrick car 17 is pretty fast right now, so I was wanting to cash in on that while that's the case.
So, Allgaier and Elliott, that was the main story, I guess, aside from Junior and Zilisch. The last thing I want to talk about is Cup practice and qualifying. And William Byron, I'm going to post some bullpen clips and pressure clips and whatnot later tonight on the YouTube channel. Byron, fastest in practice, crashes in qualifying. And his time was 31st because the alternate start-finish line over yonder in turn 2 in the tunnel turn. But he was bummed. And they are not going to a backup car. I saw a backup car being unloaded from the 48 trailer, the Hendrick backup car. I tweeted out that they were going to a backup car. Psych, they're not going to a backup car. That made me look dumb. I apologize. I was wrong there. And so he's going to a backup, or not going to a backup rather, but he does crash in qualifying. And they're going to have to fix that car. Obviously going to have to make some changes and whatnot to a really fast car. Denny Hamlin, after not racing in Mexico City, picked up right where he left off. P1, wins the pole for tomorrow's race. Oh yeah, he's a 7-time winner of Pocono, in case you were wondering. He's my pick for the race going into the weekend. He's even more so my pick now, if that's possible. So Denny Hamlin is the favorite going into tomorrow's race, the betting favorite, plus 450 last I saw yesterday when I was writing on my preview for Yardbarker. So he's the favorite, deservedly so. He was fast in qualifying. All 4 JGR cars, top 10 in qualifying. None of the 4 JGR cars, top 10 in practice. Here's what Denny Hamlin had to say when I asked him about that. And that pretty much does it. I know these are these shows are kind of janky, guys. They're far from perfect. But this is what I have to work with. This is what I'm trying to do. It's not my main duty this weekend to be podcasting and whatnot. My main duty to be a writer and be out there. I'm trying to do the best I can. We'll have another show out here, probably in the Pocono garage area tomorrow evening. I don't know what will be another gorgeous day. Hot day, though, like 90 degrees or whatnot. Probably shouldn't be wearing a suit jacket tomorrow. And I won't So anyway, fun weekend, having a blast. Another show tomorrow. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on the podcasting places. Follow me on X at Sam McGee Stubbs, and read my content on Yardbarker. Help me get paid so I can get some more of these races. Thank you all. I will catch you all tomorrow.